You've probably seen them. Chinese shoppers buying up baby formula at supermarkets across Australia.
Legal, I understand, but it's still wrong.
Leaving furious locals and empty shelves behind.
And guess what they're waiting for?
But who are they? And what are they doing? It all started with a tainted formula crisis in China in 2008, which destroyed trust in the local product. Daigou, or personal shoppers, began selling Australian-made formula to friends and family back home. A decade later, it's hard to grasp the sheer size, depth and sophistication of the multi-billion-dollar Daigou industry and the power it holds over Australian businesses.
I was nearly forced to be a Daigou. My first time when I was on my Christmas vacation, and one of my best friends, she wanted me to send her some Australian products, and she told nearly all her friends. Then that night I received 50 inquiries. 4 months later, I just quit my job and do Daigou for full time when I realized it can support my basic life in Australia.
Angela is an international student studying here in Melbourne. She's one of an estimated 1 to 200,000 Daigou working in Australia.
On average, I mail like 70 to 100 parcels to Chinese customers by myself, around 500 Daigou working together with me. We send around 10,000 parcels back to our customers.
Every week?
Yeah.
She's supplying goods to relatives, friends and customers back home, from vitamins to groceries to cosmetics and whatever else might be in demand.
所以我每次采购的时候，我也会去发一些小视频在朋友圈里面，印证了就是我是在药房、在超市帮你们采购这个东西的，它会建立起一个信任感。
Over the last decade, the industry has transformed from individual shoppers into a booming trade. It integrates retail, marketing, logistics, shipping, and branding businesses.
所以我选择了 Blackmores 奥家宝孕期黄金营养素。
And there are dozens of Australian companies that rely on and benefit from the trade. There are also different layers to the Daigou ecosystem. Professional Daigou typically don't touch their products. They facilitate orders between their customers, the manufacturer, and their logistics provider. Chinese soldiers were even seen loading their warship with infant formula in Sydney Harbour earlier this year.
We can't take video.
So those fights over tins on retail shelves show us only a tiny fraction of the broader industry. There are now an estimated 600 to 1,000 Daigou specialty stores across Australia. Some logistics firms say there are now 500,000 packages being sent to China every week through a trade channel, sometimes referred to as the China Back Channel.
Overall, the number is huge. Back to 2010, our founder Sam started business from 200 meter square meters warehouse. I remember he only have like 5 people, and it was like a small business. Every week is like 100, 200 parcel. But today, in 2019, we have 4 warehouses across the whole Australia.
Another major courier company, Changjiang Express, estimates it's sending 400 tons of product to China every month. AU Make is a publicly listed Daigou specialty business based in Sydney. It's experienced a record 121% increase in sales in May compared to the same time last year, up to $4.2 million.
整个的保守的这个市场份额应该是在25个亿左右。到现在为止呢，我们在澳大利亚各个州里面总共有25家店。
While it's a global phenomenon, Australia has become a pioneer in terms of scale and sophistication. And while it's nearly impossible to put an exact dollar figure on the size of the industry, Daigou are massive business, with a slew of big publicly listed Australian companies heavily reliant on Daigou sales.
And so if you look at the ones that are noted in the media and so forth for making significant volumes of sales, and you look at their sales curves at the time that they started to appear as significant significant suppliers to this industry, you'll see a dramatic increase.
The ABC examined the financial reports of the major players, and while they contain references to Daigou channels and China channels, there are no specifics about how they're used. The ABC requested breakdowns and specifics on quotas from companies known to be in the market, but were declined or told that they just don't know for sure. But some have spoken publicly about the challenge of understanding the Daigou channel and the difficulty of selling directly into China.
One of the reasons for the poor result was because you were chasing direct sales into China. So it sounds like that strategy isn't working. So which one is it? What are you targeting, direct sales or the Daigous?
We're trying to do both. The obvious long-term future of Blackmores is to have a substantial in-China business, and that's not so easy. But also we're now trying to re-engage the Daigou market. The Daigou market, we didn't disengage with them, they disengaged with us.
Blackmores told the ABC that it recently held an event with Daigou and e-commerce platforms to, quote, share our reinvigorated approach to the Daigou market after undertaking a comprehensive review of our current go-to-market strategy. The company also says about 25% of its sales are through Daigou, but analysts say that number could be much higher for all the companies involved in the Daigou industry. Working with Daigou allows companies to outsource marketing and shipping responsibilities and avoid the tax and regulatory hurdles that come with conventional channels.
他们是比如说他们会雇中国的代表方，然后进行一个品牌账号，他们会在微信上注册一个品牌账号，然后这个品牌账号他们的头像会用他们的官方头像，然后这个账号呢就负责是跟代购之间的互动。
It might be easy for us to point the finger at overzealous Chinese shoppers and blame them for infant formula shortages. But Australian companies are actively recruiting and encouraging Daigou to buy more of their products.
Daigou changing the whole game, and now they become a key opinion or KOL, key opinion leader. They can promote a brand.
Even Australia Post is getting on board. Now led by the former CEO of Blackmores, Christine Holgate, Australia Post has opened a handful of Daigou specialty stores in which you buy goods free of GST but can only sell directly to China. It's a move to, quote, capitalise on the multi-million-dollar market that exists within Australia. But the expanding industry raises a number of unanswered questions. Is it financially responsible to build business models around an unknown quantity?
Whether they're meeting their responsibilities, their corporate governance responsibilities in terms of actually understanding this channel, I think they're not. I think they are standing back and just allowing it to happen, and I think that's where the real concern lies.
And is the Daigou model creating a major tax loophole? The Australian Tax Office told the ABC that while there are no specific tax rules for Daigou, it expects that they are meeting GST and tax obligations. But there is no obligation to ensure Daigous are paying income tax. And the widespread transfer of money through Chinese apps like WeChat mean that many operations are taking place completely off the government's radar. So Daigou continue to operate in a regulatory grey area. Nonetheless, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade acknowledged to the ABC the continued importance of Daigou in trade with China. Back in Beijing, China is trying to rebuild trust in homegrown products in order to wean off its reliance on imports. China has also implemented e-commerce laws to ensure Daigou are registered as businesses and pay tax on the products they're importing.
So while you've got hundreds of thousands, even 500,000 Chinese students in Australia, you've got 500,000 Chinese entrepreneurs. So I think you'd expect to see Daigou transform and mutate into other forms of activity, but I don't expect that activity will just stop.
For now, Daigou seem likely to keep selling, as long as Chinese customers keep buying.